November 28th, 1940, 3:15 p.m. Jesse Livermore walked into the Sherry Netherland Hotel bar on Fifth Avenue in Manhattan, ordered a dry martini, drank it slowly while staring at nothing, then stood up, walked calmly to the hotel cloakroom, pulled a .32 caliber Colt automatic pistol from his coat pocket, put it to his head, and pulled the trigger. He was 63 years old, and in his jacket pocket police found a suicide note written on hotel stationery that read, "My life has been a failure. I am tired of fighting, can't carry on any longer. This is the only way out." This was a man who had made and lost over $100 million. Not once, not twice, but 3 separate times in his life. The greatest stock trader who ever lived, the man who made $100 million shorting the 1929 crash, while everyone else was jumping out of windows, died broke, alone, and convinced he was a failure. And his story will show you exactly what happens when you master making money, but never learn how to keep it. If you want to understand what really happened to the greatest trader in American history, and why making money is completely different from keeping money, hit that subscribe button and smash that like button right now. Drop a comment telling me if you've ever made money and then lost it, because Jesse Livermore's tragedy contains lessons that could save you from the same fate. This isn't just history, this is a warning. Let me take you back to where it all started. 1877. Jesse Livermore was born on a small farm in Shrewsbury, Massachusetts, dirt poor. His father was an abusive drunk who beat him regularly. At 14 years old, Jesse ran away from home with $5 in his pocket and took a train to Boston. He got a job at Payne Weber Stock Brokerage as a board boy. His job was to write stock prices on a large chalkboard as they came in over the ticker tape he made, $6 per week. But while writing those numbers hour after hour, day after day, Jesse started seeing patterns. He noticed that certain stocks moved in predictable ways. He began making notes tracking the patterns, and at age 15, he placed his first trade, $5 on Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy Railroad. He made $3.12 profit, and he was hooked. By age 21, Jesse Livermore had turned that initial $5 into $10,000. Trading from bucket shops, illegal gambling parlors, where you could bet on stock price movements without actually owning the stocks. He was so good that bucket shops across Boston banned him. He was too successful. They were losing money on his trades. So he moved to New York and started trading on the actual stock exchange with real brokers. By age 30, in 1907, he had made his first million, then promptly lost it all in a single disastrous cotton trade. He was completely broke again, borrowing money from friends, back to zero. But Jesse had a gift. He could read the tape like Mozart could read music, and within 18 months, he'd made it all back and more. October 29th, 1929, Black Tuesday, the day the stock market crashed and the Great Depression began, while stockbrokers were jumping out of windows, while families were losing their life savings, while banks were collapsing. Jesse Livermore was making the trade of the century. He had shorted the entire market, betting that it would crash, and when it did, he made $100 million in a single day. That's equivalent to $1.7 billion today. He was the most hated man in America, blamed for the crash, receiving death threats. But he was also the richest, the greatest trader who ever lived, the man who saw what was coming and had the courage to bet everything on it. At the peak of his wealth, in 1929, Jesse lived like a king. He had a massive yacht, a private railroad car, a 20-room mansion on Long Island, another mansion in Palm Beach apartments in Manhattan. He threw lavish parties, drank expensive champagne, kept mistresses, gambled in Monte Carlo, bought his wife furs and diamonds, lived like no tomorrow would ever come. But Jesse had a fatal flaw. He couldn't stop. Making money was an addiction. He needed the action, the thrill, the high of a winning trade. And he believed his own legend. He thought he was invincible, that his system was perfect, that he couldn't lose. 1934. 5 years after making $100 million, Jesse Livermore was broke again, completely wiped out. He had made bad trades, lived too extravagantly, trusted the wrong people, lost millions in bad investments outside the stock market. His wife left him, took the mansion, took the yacht, took half of what remained, which wasn't much. He was 57 years old, broke for the third time, and this time something was different. He was tired. The markets had changed. His system wasn't working anymore. Younger traders didn't respect him, called him washed up, a has-been. The legend was dying, and the man was dying with it. He tried to make it back, spent 6 years grinding, making small trades, writing a book called How to Trade in Stocks, hoping to make money from his knowledge, since he couldn't make it from trading anymore. But the magic was gone. The patterns he used to see so clearly were now murky. His confidence was shattered, and worse, he was drinking, heavily depressed. Isolated, his second wife had left him too. His children barely spoke to him. He was alone in a New York apartment with nothing but memories of when he was the greatest. November 28, 1940. Jesse woke up in his apartment, looked at his trading account, saw less than $5,000, money he'd borrowed from his sister. He was 63 years old, broke, alone, an alcoholic, suffering from severe depression, and he made a decision. He put on his best suit, the one he'd worn when he made his first million, walked to the Sherry Netherland Hotel, and ended it. The note in his pocket said, "My life has been a failure." The man who made $100 million 3 times, who predicted the 1929 crash, who was featured in newspapers as the greatest trader alive, died believing he was a failure. But here's what's devastating. Jesse Livermore wasn't a failure at making money. He was a genius at it. His failure was keeping it, understanding that making money and keeping money are completely different skills, requiring completely different mindsets. Making money requires aggression, risk-taking, confidence, but keeping money requires defense, patience, humility, and Jesse never learned the second skill. Every time he made a fortune, he lived like it would last forever spent, extravagantly took excessive risks, trusted his own legend, and the market always humbled him, always took it back, always reminded him that no one is invincible. The lesson from Jesse Livermore's tragedy isn't about trading strategies or stock picks. It's about the psychology of wealth. He made the same mistake 3 times. Each time he got rich, he believed he'd figured it out, that this time was different, that he was too smart to lose it again, and each time pride destroyed him. After his first fortune, he said, "I've learned my lesson. I'll never risk everything again." Then he did. After his second fortune, he said, "This time I'm being more careful." But he wasn't. And after the third fortune, the greatest fortune of all, $100 million from the 1929 crash, he had the world at his feet, and he threw it away because he couldn't stop playing the game. If Jesse Livermore had stopped after 1929, taken his $100 million, put it in safe investments, lived modestly, he could have died wealthy, respected, surrounded by family. Instead, he died broke, alone, with a bullet in his head in a hotel cloakroom. The markets didn't beat Jesse Livermore. Jesse Livermore beat Jesse Livermore. His genius was also his curse. The same traits that made him the greatest trader, aggression, risk tolerance, supreme confidence, also made him incapable of walking away, and that's what killed him. What can you learn from this? First, making money and keeping money are different games with different rules. What works to accumulate wealth will destroy you if you use it to preserve wealth. Second, know when to stop. Jesse's tragedy was that he never stopped. He needed the action. The game became more important than the money. Third, diversify not just your assets, but your identity. Jesse was nothing but a trader. When trading stopped working, he had nothing left. No purpose, no identity, no reason to live. And fourth, money is a tool, not a scoreboard. Jesse measured his worth by his net worth. When the money disappeared, he thought his life had no value. That's the ultimate tragedy. If you found this story valuable, smash that like button. Subscribe for more true stories from American financial history. and share this with anyone who needs to understand that making money is easy compared to keeping it. Jesse Livermore proved you can be the greatest trader who ever lived and still die broke if you do and learn the psychology of wealth. Don't let his tragedy be yours. Learn from the greatest trader's biggest mistake. He mastered the markets, but never mastered himself. And in the end, that's what killed him.